That was funny.
I'm going to start sharing my screen, but let me know if you prefer to have gallery view at any time and I can drop it.
Do we want to start out by making sure we have a scribe and a report out person pegged? Volunteers?
I'll scribe.
Okay, we'll all scribe. It's supposed to be a member of the COAC.
I think it's
to
gonna
do
be.
the
Oh, whoops,
report
never
out.
mind.
Yeah,
Never mind then.
I mean, but take notes, but any volunteers? We don't have a lot of, we have Katrina, Michael, James. No volunteers?
No volunteers? Do you?
I'm happy to report out, or if someone, when we get back out there, if someone wants to jump in with me, that's fine also.
No, I think Belinda should do it.
Okay, that's even
Can you
better.
do-
Wait, do what? Scribe or report?
Report.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so let's get this conversation started. What elements or enhancements are we missing? I'm not even sure if y'all have had the time to read the technical assistance portion. You know, the slideshow is an outline of, like, we take a direct outline out of the technical assistance portion, and then we try to create graphics and content that communicate the information. Did we give you enough in the slide deck or in the writing to be able to give us some healthy comments on things you'd like to see added?
James.
Yeah, you know, what I was going to say in the larger group is that whether you're talking about construction or whatever business area, typically 65 to 70% of people that go into business fail. And this whole concept of technical assistance, you almost never hear white boys talk about technical assistance because it's a part of their culture and what they do ongoing.
Mhm.
So you get around to minorities, Black people, and so forth. Technical assistance is an inherent part of trying to compensate for lack of intentionality for them ongoing. And so there's a high probability that any business that you have out here, and particularly in construction, is going to fail unless you have this level of intentionality. And really, you could substitute another word for it. You could say caring and appreciation for who you're working with. You can call it intentionality if you want to, but if these guys don't care about the people who they're working with and beyond just the business proposition, then they're in trouble. I just want to make that point real clear, that when these guys are talking, listen, let me just say this, it's really the unique aspect of this so-called technical assistance. The unique aspect of this is not found in just about no other place. You all need just to understand that this level of energy and resources and commitment to minority contractors, you don't find that. In fact, you find the other thing. People are trying to stab you in the back, trying to throw you off the project, trying to get rid of you, trying to demean you, trying to do all kinds of things to make sure you don't fail. So what you all are seeing is the reverse of that in spades. If you don't understand what I'm talking about here, you've never been out on a project when you know people are trying to kill you, you're trying to make a living, you're trying to support your family, and they're trying to stab you in the back every which way. So I had to get that off my chest. I'm sorry, had to get that off my chest. This technical assistance that's being proposed by these guys is the only way they're going to, a minority contractors only is going to be successful in this industry. If you absence of that, you ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing that's unique about this is ODOT does do technical assistance in terms of a mentor protege program, but this is very different in that this is technical assistance while you're actually on a project, while you're working, before you bid, etc., which is entirely unique. And the other thing is, Bill, that one slide that you showed about the field technical assistance and then the back office support, just for those people that don't run a business, I'll say what that means in a different way, which is it's helping the owner and the staff understand how to implement the business operational systems, as well as then the delivery of the product and service to the market, so it's both the inside and it's the external part, which are all, and the project management, which is those are the three components to making a successful business. So yes, Miss Katrina.
So I'm curious, I'm extremely excited to see all the resources that are going to the contractors. Will they have access to, if it's a small sub and they don't have travel funds for somebody for new apprentices, will there be any sort of help for people that might need to have daycare or any of their PPE, or if there's travel funds or anything like that, that a brand new somebody potentially coming out of like a pre-apprenticeship program may not necessarily be set up to be successful until their first paycheck or two comes in?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Hey, Katie, can you do the gallery view thingy? Yeah, it's a really great question. Bill, do you want to respond to that, or?
I'd be happy to tell you what I know. I think it's a great question. And I don't think the construction industry has adequately responded to that kind of assistance. I come from predominantly a union background. The joint venture, not so much, but I could speak, for example, to the laborers union. They actually do, on a case-by-case basis, they do actually provide some resources for people that have childcare or other types of life issues, if you will, whether it's an injury or medical situation or just, other type of life trauma things. With the pre-apprenticeship groups, I know that they also provide types of support like that as well, but I'm just not an expert on it. Jennifer Erickson, who's in the other breakout room, would probably have more information. Does anyone else want to share? Because I know that I know like Michael Birch, you probably know something about this subject.
Yeah, Michael, you're great.
I had to move the camera to get there. So there's a number of sources that have funds available. It's not coming from the contractors. The first one that I'm aware of that's been around the longest is the one that ODOT carves out of their budget annually. And it's going through the Bureau of Labor and Industries, who create RFP process. And to my knowledge, Akana has gotten that the last couple of years. So they will spend up to $500 on heavy highway new to the industry apprentices. So if you've got someone that just got in and they got a job, she won't do it unless they have proof that they've got a job. You get a job, she'll meet you at Lowe's or Home Depot, and she historically has been able to spend up to $500 per individual, which has been huge. The Labor Community Services Association is another place that organized labor pays into. And so if you have an apprentice or a journeyman that's in the union, you give their hotline a call. There's two sources, one for apprentices, one for journeymen. I'm not sure if that same thing is available for open shops, but it would be, I think it would behoove the state if contractors paid into a fund to help folks, particularly in view of what's coming in terms of the trades and how many people will actually be needed. I think AFSCME has started a union-run daycare campaign. We were going to pay into it. I think it's AFSCME. So there's a ton of resources out there, but none, to my knowledge, are located in one place that will serve union and non-union folks.
So just a follow up, yeah, I wanted to call on you, Katrina. So I just want to ask the COAC members that the reason why you were selected is because of your expertise and knowledge, just like what Michael provided. So Katrina, any other thoughts? I know you have a comment, but like we need your help on some of these, how to tap into the very problem that you're identifying. So please go.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to say is Michael's 100% correct. So with the Econa program, having like educating the contractors to ask their folks when they're getting folks to get their paperwork in for Econa right away, because it takes a little bit of time. And so if they really don't even have gas money to get to their job site, or they don't have childcare, it takes a couple of weeks, and Penny can't pay out on that until they've applied and gone through that process. So the sooner that folks can get a jump start on that, the better it is. And there are quite a few resources that are available for union folks. There's not as many that are available for open shop. So for our crafts, we have a retention scholarship that I can allot to somebody that's, needs help. But I also am chairing the Allied Coordinators group, which is open shop coordinators, and a lot of them don't have funding sources like that. So just something to think about, if maybe these contractors had access to be able to help their funds. And some of these smaller contractors, some workarounds that open shops often will do will be to maybe they've got a policy where they can't, they don't pay travel funds or something like that. And so sometimes I can work with an open shop contractor to say, let's give them some of their friends that would normally go into their retirement for the first couple of checks and give that directly to them. So there's some things that we could do. So maybe just thinking outside the box. I know for sure Jennifer Erickson's probably would have some ideas around what that might look like for the open shop folks. The childcare is another issue that open shop, the union program that has that daycare is a fantastic opportunity for folks, but it's just not there available yet. Maybe by the time this project is ready, the Allied Coordinator group will be able to have some resources available, but we're just now starting all of that. So just to be mindful of it. Michael's got some great ideas too, so.
Thank you, Katrina.
James.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that by hiring Raymore, many of you guys' anticipated problems will be solved by virtue of who you're working with. I've watched Bill give advances. You ain't even done the work yet, but he's going to give you an advance so you can keep your job going or whatever you have going financially for your personal benefit. These guys are not going to let you fail. The unique aspect of what they do and how they do it, you guys are not, you're not kind of trying to bring that out, because these guys, Bill will take half his salary and give it to you. Nobody else will give it to you. In order to make sure you do not lose your place. Now, I'm assuming that you're doing your job. He probably ain't gonna give it to you if you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. These guys will make self-sacrifice, personal sacrifices to make sure that you stay online. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find it in this industry. Now, you're talking about union versus non-union. What I would suggest is that you all follow through on all those things and trying to get the unions to do what they do. But at the end of the day, you're going to need someone like Bill to help manage the unions. Managing unions was enlisted in that process that you talk about in technical assistance. Because you all know, as a contractor, unions can be a solution, but they can also be a problem. I'm just speaking real now. Y'all shut me up if I'm not talking real. So technical assistants need to be broadened to HR function, which was kind of talked about a little bit. But if you got a guy coming in with drug problems or family problems or child care, not child care, but he hadn't paid his support to his children for the last 10 months. Bill allowed him to write a check for him to pay all his child support for the last year. I'm just speaking real. So the support system is inherently built into the Ray Moore model for success. That's what's unique about this particular contractor.
Thanks,
I mean,
James.
yeah, I mean, before James chimed in on that, I was going to ask Webb or Terrence, just because I mean, like Webb talked about the field, how he supports subcontractors in the field, and I agree with Katrina. We didn't really mention supporting individuals in the workforce, but like I watch Webb support. I think he has 25 employees, 30 employees right now, and I never even hear half of the problems that they or support elements that he provides. I mean, you could speak on there. That's the project-based piece of it that James talking about.
Yeah, I think, I mean, and it's funny you say, because it's like, it's so many times where I have individuals, you know, I try to take pride and try to get women in the industry. And so it comes to, you know, especially single moms. And so trying to carve out, you know, a plan for the individual is something I do. I didn't brush on the individual, because I just try to, when I say personalized mentorship, it covers the individual, but I mean, those are select things that we do literally every day, just because you're running into problems constantly with daycare and everything else. And so, you know, I think it's a good point, because it's something that we can carve into, you know, the volume of people that we're going to have, I think, and there's a lot of daycares in the community that we should be able to find some type of funding to be able to dump it into somebody in the community who's been, I mean, there's off of 27 Killingsworth, I know by Jeff Senior's house. I mean, I think she's been there for 30, 40 years, doing 30 years doing daycare. So there are members that we need to reach out to try to make sure we can bridge the gap. So that is, so people do have options. So, because we just don't want that to be the barrier for somebody to not be able to get this opportunity, because these opportunities are very rare. So, you know, like Bill said, there's a lot of things that I carve a lot of different strategic plans for individuals. I mean, every day, because, you know, we're in an industry where there is a lot of, you know, ups and downs, and there is some dysfunction, and some people need help with critical thinking and to do these things. And so that's where we, like James Posey said, you know, that's where we actually bridge the gap and take pride in bridging the gap to help people. So we can take some of the little things where, you know, it's not the reason why they can't be successful. Just to add on a little bit.
Agree.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I just want to weigh in here a little bit in the fact that, I mean, it goes back to being intentional about this and actually putting your mind the fact that you want to help and you have to help to make these people successful. So, I mean, you just got to be intentional, and we need to carry that intentional word. I mean, it needs to be plastered everywhere so that we never forget it and make it happen.
Yeah, if I can add to that too, Ray Moore, the individuals is what make this company. We are totally committed to doing whatever it takes to make sure people win. And when we talk about time and energy, as Webb talked about it, we don't, there's no off the clock for us, right? If I can just be really, really honest, because we're committed to the lives of people. We answer our phone when people call, we show up. We're talking about taking a community full of hurt, broken, disenfranchised people and deciding that we're not involved in this simply for politics, but we care. Right? We want them to win. We want them to have the highest levels of success. And so we are committed, and we know that that's going to take our lives to be committed to it. And so Mr. Posey is correct in that we literally, you can't represent Raymore in the highest levels if you look at this about yourself in any type of selfish form. So every single one of us that y'all hear from, it's really real. We're involved in the community in a lot of different ways, and we're putting in the work off the clock all the time to make sure that people that's coming through us or have hope in what we're trying to create is being successful. I'm an example, and then in that example, I put all my energy and time into the community to make sure that men and women from my community, like myself, can have high levels of success in construction. We are really, really committed to this in a life. I agree. I think that as a joint venture, we can be conscious of that, Ms. Katrina, and we can be aware of those things. But Raymore is not letting nobody escape that responsibility, because we really love the community. We really love the people. You don't get a pass to mishandle the community on our time. If we look up and childcare has to be a part of that conversation, it's going to be a part of it. And we're not going to allow people to look past our single moms and those families that need that support. We're just not going to allow it. Like Senior always say, we will walk away before our community is mishandled. And so you can always be assured when we hear those concerns, we're going to put in the work to make sure. I come from a single mom and I know what the struggle was for her. So we're conscious of that, and we're going to put in the work.
I think it goes in the workforce section as I'm listening to this, the next the next three meetings are gonna be on the workforce sections of the diversity plan. And I can tell you right now, we don't specifically talk about this. And so that's a good adder.
Yeah, and I just gotta add, when we start talking about technical assistance, it's not so much the what, it's the who. Whoever jumps out there and tells you something or gives you some advice, you can interpret it one way or the other, but it's coming from somebody who really cares about you.
Mm-hmm.
So that has the tendency of sticking. Then another piece that I know these guys do, they're not going to say this, but you have to be a stakeholder in your own success. So they don't try to make sure you internalize the technical assistance for your own well-being, not for the company, but for your own success. They're going to make you understand, I'm not doing this for my health. This is for your health, which makes a big difference. That's why the technical assistance won't just roll off your back. You have to embrace it and internalize it.